What's going on, everybody? It's me, Zamir TV, and as I said on, I believe, Friday it was, once a week, every week, I will be talking about all the other games that I've seen, that were not just Bayern Munich, but all the other games, just to give you my quick thoughts, because a lot of you guys have said that you guys wanted to hear my opinion on other games, and simply put, yeah, that's actually not bad. That's actually not a bad idea. So, I've got a list of the games that I've seen here, and I'm going to be watching another game in about an hour, Inter Milan versus Torino, which should be a fantastic game. But I don't want this to come out on Monday, because obviously tomorrow I'll be doing the preview and I'm going to look at Benfica a little. So that's what I'm going to do for the next 2 hours after the Inter match. So I'll basically be busy watching past Benfica games just to see how they play, just to see their danger man, and so on and so forth. So let's talk about the games that I've seen. So on Friday, and these are, by the way, in no chronological orders, it's just that the first one on Friday is the one I remember the most, which was Wolfsburg versus Leverkusen, or should I say Leverkusen versus Wolfsburg. And Leverkusen absolutely dismantled Wolfsburg. One of the key players that I thought was going to really stand out in that match was going to be Draxler, but when he got on the ball, he was pretty fantastic, but the thing is, he didn't get on the ball enough for me to warrant a good performance. So for me, he actually played pretty poor. And Gilavogi, I have to say, he played pretty well, actually. He was pretty good, in fact. But Leverkusen, they just scored some fantastic goals. I mean, the first goal by Brand was absolutely beautiful. And you could say that Brand should perhaps, maybe, and I know I'm stretching a bit, but he should perhaps go to the Euros. And the reason why I'm saying that is because he offers a little bit different, and he's been doing it for, I think, 3 or 4 years now, whereas you look at someone like Sané, he's only been really doing it for this season, and in the second half of the season he's been rather poor. So you've got that as well. Although I'm not just judging it based on his performance. I'm gonna have to wait and see, because I don't watch Leverkusen that often. But when I do, generally, you have a certain amount of players that do perform impressively. But I have to say that Wolfsburg, they'll have to think of something, because I don't think they can actually make it into the Champions League at this point anymore, just because the way the season has been going, and I don't think that they're actually going to catch up with the likes of Gladbach, the likes of Hertha Berlin, the likes of even Leverkusen at this point. Schalke is looking pretty good as well. Obviously, they lost, but they're looking pretty good in terms of getting top 4. So it's all kind of it's all for them to do, and I think the best way, the easiest way for them to get into the Champions League right now, and while saying the easiest way is probably the most difficult way to do it, but the easiest way to do it is probably via the Champions League, unless a miracle happens in the Bundesliga, which I don't see happening. So at this point, Wolfsburg, you kind of shot yourself in the foot by losing to Leverkusen, because you really needed those points, and at this point, it might be too late to actually come back. But next, obviously, I saw the Bayern versus Frankfurt win, and one thing I wanted to say that I didn't actually say in my post-match video was that I wanted to do I wanted to really highlight the man of the match for me in that performance, which was, in my opinion, definitely and without a doubt, Ribéry. I thought Ribéry is fantastic. He was just outstanding. And obviously, he came out and said today that he's thinking about a new contract, but Rummenigge then came out and said that that he doesn't play that game. He's gonna wait, not to judge it on one game like a lot of people do, but he's actually gonna wait and see how it goes, how it continues. Because essentially, I think the thing is that you don't want to give Ribéry a contract and then his body isn't able to actually match the contract duration. So you don't want to give him a 5-year contract, for example, and then he can only play for 2 more years, that kind of thing. So you're gonna take it on a year by year basis, and I think that's actually the right thing to do, especially with his age. Similar to how we're doing with Alonso, where we just give him a one year extension, and I think we're gonna do the same thing with Ribéry as well. Now, next match that I watched was Aston Villa versus Chelsea, and boy, here's a question to all of you guys. Who is worse, Aston Villa or Hannover 96? Obviously, they've actually released Thomas Schaaf today, but still, who is worse at this point? It's just really difficult to tell, because Aston Villa is so awful. If I'm playing so often, and a few times that I have seen them, I don't watch them that often, but a few times that I have seen Aston Villa, they've been really underperforming. But you're looking at Chelsea, they did alright, against a team like Aston Villa, you're supposed to score a lot of goals. So them scoring 4 goals was, basically what you expect. But the only player that I really wanted to get a goal, and he got a goal, was Pato. I remember him back at AC Milan. Back then he was pretty good. He was pretty amazing actually. So seeing him score kind of made me happy, just because I watched him at AC Milan. And I thought he was pretty good. Back when I used to watch AC Milan quite regularly, because it came on TV quite regularly. But I'm quite happy for him. But that's just the way it is. Aston Villa versus Hannover 96. That should be an awesome battle if that ever were to happen. But yeah, I'd actually put my money on Hannover 96, and that says a lot. That says a lot. Before we get to the big one, which is obviously the El Clasico, let's talk about Dortmund versus Werder Bremen, where Dortmund pulled a comeback at 3-2. Now, when he scored the first goal, I just knew, because the way that I started playing after the first goal, I just looked at him and I was like, yeah, this is not going well for you guys. You basically fall asleep, and that's what happens to a lot of teams once they score one goal against a team that hasn't been trying up to that point, where you just stop playing, you just fall asleep. You're like, yeah, it doesn't matter, they're not even going to try anything. But Werder Bremen, they did try, and they scored 2 goals, and at that point I was like, yes, 15 minutes left. Can Dortmund score 2 more goals to win this game within 15 minutes? And long behold, they did score 2 goals with Kagawa and Ramos. Now, one thing that I do know is that Ramos, he's honestly this season surprised me. He's not been great in of itself, but I believe he has the best goal to minute ratio in the Bundesliga right now, scoring something along the lines of every 45 minutes. So that is dangerously impressive. That honestly is very impressive for a striker who I don't rate whatsoever. So he's more of an impact sub, but he does have the impact. He's showing that consistently this season. So he is a threat. He is a big threat. But yeah, Dortmund won 3-2 against Werder Bremen. Now, another match that I watched was Liverpool versus Tottenham, which was actually in the same time as Dortmund versus Werder Bremen. So I watched both matches at the same time. That's the beauty of having 2 screens on the computer. But Liverpool versus Tottenham, it was actually quite funny, because it was actually a really entertaining game. And normally the Premier League, that's what it's known for basically. The Premier League is not known for its quality; it's more known for its entertainment. And that match was really entertaining. I did think that for Liverpool, you had the likes of Sacco, who was really, really poor. But obviously Harry Kane scored a fantastic goal as well. But it was literally end-to-end stuff. I did think that Liverpool should have perhaps won this match. They had the better chances, Coutinho especially. But they just let Tottenham get back into the game, and that's what ultimately cost them at the end. But yeah, I think overall a 1-1 result is probably the fair result. But I do think that Liverpool had the better chances to actually win that match. But let's actually talk about the El Clasico. Oh boy. I mean, those of you who follow me on Twitter, you guys know my opinions on the first half. I actually switched over from the El Clasico after 20 minutes to the Juventus versus Empoli match. But in the second half, when El Clasico started again, I was like, okay, you know what? I'll give the second half a try for 10-15 minutes. And I have to say, it was so much better than the first half. It wasn't actually boring. There was a lot more to it. And Real Madrid, they actually seemed to actually get the ball and play again. But obviously, ultimately, they won. But what I really want to focus on here is how Real Madrid played. Now, you don't really think of Real Madrid as a defensive team, and they were actually pretty poor defensively. They were slow. They were slow, lethargic, and they really didn't create much offensively in the first half whatsoever. But it worked. It worked. That's all I have to say. Them being defensive basically stopped Barcelona attacking, because Barcelona, they basically become a counter-attacking team. They don't know how to unlock a bus anymore, which is kind of funny, because they used to be masters of unlocking buses. So now that I think about it, if Bayern were to play against Barcelona, should we perhaps park the bus? Yeah, I know that sounds a little bit crazy, but should we perhaps park the bus? Because if we were to play a much faster counter-attacking counter-attacking play than Real Madrid did yesterday, then we could actually score goals while maintaining a clean sheet. And that's crazy to think about against Barcelona, because it was the El Clasico, so Barcelona was trying. They were trying, but Real Madrid, they just came with the plan of, let's defend, let's play solid at the back, which they really didn't, and let's just try and go for the counters, and it worked. It legitimately worked, so that's the question. And obviously, the weakness from Barcelona's wings were exposed again, because every time a cross came in, Real Madrid looked dangerous. So having the likes of Costa, obviously, and the likes of Coman, who are great at crossing, maybe not great at crossing when they actually look up, which when they have time they do, when they don't have time they really don't. But then you have the likes of them two who love to cross, let's say that, and you have two players in the box such as Müller and Lewandowski. That could be dangerous. That could honestly really be dangerous, for Barcelona. So that is maybe one thing to remember for the future. But like I said, the El Clasico, it was alright. It wasn't that good. It was. I've seen better ones. But Ramos, he got sent off deservedly. Should have been sent off a lot earlier. Bale had a disallowed goal. But one player that really impressed me, two players actually that really impressed me, but one that I really want to highlight is Pepe, because we've been linked to Pepe obviously, and again he was basically the only real the only real centre back for Real Madrid, because I don't know what Ramos was doing. He's being Ramos basically. That's all he was, fouling. You don't get more from him. But Casemiro, he was pretty good as well. But yeah, El Clasico, it wasn't that great, but it's better than nothing, I guess. However, today, what did I watch today? Udinese versus Napoli, and for a player that we've been linked with for quite a while, in Higuain, he lost his head massively, and it really shouldn't happen. I mean, getting pushed and suddenly pushing back, you really shouldn't do that as a professional footballer. You should be smart, especially when you're on a yellow card. So, considering that we've been linked to him for such a long time, yeah, I wasn't really impressed. He is a great goal scorer, don't get me wrong. I've seen him score, I've seen him play, I've seen a lot of Napoli this season because they play really exciting football. But as a professional, you can't do that. Honestly, you can't do that. You can't be that stupid to give away a red card like that, and that's just one thing, that they have to improve on. But I think their title chances are now officially gone. Juventus have basically won the Serie A. With them losing today 3-1, which is just crazy. The first goal was absolutely amazing as well from Udinese. But yeah, I think the Serie A is officially over now. You could you could seal it and wrap it up. What else did I watch? Leicester City versus Southampton. I said it in December and I'll say it today. Leicester City are really gonna win the Premier League. Leicester City are honestly going to make it. I've said it in December. I actually said it before that as well, that Leicester City was gonna win, just because I saw them grind out results, and that's exactly what they're doing right now as well, where they're grinding out results. I think they've got like 14 1-0 wins, which it doesn't matter if you win by 5 goals. It doesn't matter if you win by 2 goals. As long as you win, that's what matters. And that's why for all the people, all the Spurs fans and all the Arsenal fans, that always think that they can come back into the and that they can come back and win the Premier League. The thing is, if by this point, right, Leicester City have been so consistent throughout this whole season, why would they suddenly crack at this point? And Arsenal and Tottenham are gonna lose games as well before the end of the season. So I just can't see Leicester City lose the Premier League at this point. So I'm all for it, Leicester City. You gotta win. The ball's in your court, and if you lose right now, that would probably be the worst loss I've ever seen, the worst choking I've ever seen, and I've seen a lot of choking. I've seen a lot of teams choke, and yeah, Leicester City, you can't lose at this point. That's all I'm saying. I'm right behind you. I'm supporting you to win the Premier League over Arsenal, over Man City, and over Tottenham, because right now you are probably the biggest underdog story, besides probably besides Hertha Berlin, who are currently third in the Bundesliga. So go for it, Leicester City. But the last match that I saw was Gladbach versus Hertha Berlin, which I have to say, wow. Wow. I've not seen a dismantling like that. Like, literally, Gladbach, every time they had a goal at it in the second half, they literally scored, and they were just so dangerous all around, whereas Hertha Berlin, they really struggled in that game. Obviously, the first goal coming by a mistake, so once that happens, the confidence is down and whatnot. But in general, I thought that Gladbach, they totally deserved the win, and Thorgan Hazard, he played amazing. I mean, he hasn't really impressed me so far this season whatsoever. At one point, he was basically just benched for like 6 or 7 matches as well. But then today he just excelled. He just shined, and you know what? Gladbach, well done for that win. You make the race for you make the race for the Champions League very interesting. And at this point, I actually think that Gladbach is going to make the Champions League. I think they're going to make the third spot, and I think that slowly but surely. I'm not saying that Hertha Berlin will drop out of it, but I think that Hertha Berlin will become fourth, while Gladbach come in third. I just think them two are going to switch positions just because Gladbach are a much more consistent team all around, whereas Hertha Berlin are obviously a much more defensive team, but you can only play defensive for so long. So, I think those two positions will change, and I think you'll have your top four there with Bayern at the top, obviously Dortmund second, Gladbach third, and Hertha Berlin fourth, which would make for an interesting Champions League campaign next season. Obviously Bayern, we're always going far in the Champions League, so I'm expecting us to go, especially under Ancelotti, who's such an experienced manager in the Champions League, in cup competitions. I'm expecting us to at least make the quarterfinals, whereas Dortmund, with the way they've been playing this season, if they can hold on to Mkhitaryan, who looks to be the most likely to leave right now, and Gundogan, who I don't know if teams will go for due to his past injury records, but if they can keep on to both players, or even if they can replace both players adequately, then I think they will be able to, they'll be one of the top 5 candidates of the Champions League. I think they will at least make the quarterfinals. And you look at Gladbach, who I thought this season they didn't do too bad, but it was a little bit too late. But if they could do that, if they can do something like that next season right from the start, then I don't. And if they get an easy group as well, of course, but I don't see them dropping out of the group stage. And I think that they can potentially get to like the quarterfinals, and depending on obviously who they get. But Hertha Berlin, they will be the dark horse, really, because I think that it's going to be something similar to what happened to Augsburg last season, where a team has a really good season one year and then all the players get picked off. And if that happens to Hertha Berlin, then that could be really bad next season. But we'll see. Ultimately, we'll see. But that's, like I said, these are the matches that I've seen this week. Like I said, the next match that is going to be coming on any second now is going to be Inter Milan versus Torino, about half an hour. So I'm looking forward to that match, and then I'm going to be spending the next 5-6 hours while I'm trying to fall asleep watching some Benfica matches. We actually won 5-1 this weekend. I just saw the highlights just then, but that's actually really impressive, and it makes me confident, because if a team wins high, they like to attack, and if a team attacks against us at the Allianz Arena, that's normally good for us. So I'm actually really looking forward to that match, and I can't wait. It's on Tuesday, which is good as well, so we don't have to wait that long. But that's what I think. Tell me what you guys think. In the Benfica match, like, if Benfica attack, do you guys think that's good for us, or do you guys think it's bad for us? Like I said, I think it's good for us, just because normally when teams attack at the Allianz Arena, then we just picked them off on a counter, and because at the Allianz Arena we play much faster than we do away, which is gonna help us massively. But like I said, this was just for this week, 1st of April till 3rd of April. So yeah. That's it. Yep. That's it. See you later. See you next week. Actually, no, technically see you next week. See you tomorrow on the preview for the Benfica match. But as always, people, you can rate, comment, favorite, and subscribe. You can peace out, and you can have a nice day. Bye.